Let's have a quick look at the current price action first, and then we'll jump into the higher time frame review. Let's drop into the 5 minute. So we've been in this, we're in this move here from New York AM. Let me pop our quarters on. So we had a sweep down here, and then we've had a Q4 sweep and rejection here. This is our 200 smooth moving average here. So we've taken out the Asia and London highs. And so we're currently still within these standard deviations from New York AM at the moment. We'll just come down and hit that SD 2.5. Did manage to get a quick short on. First thing from here, as we're leading into 1900, and then just another add here at the 1900 open down to that 2.5 level, which is hit nicely. So we might see a little bit of redistribution here and possible continuation down to SD 3.5 or 4. Definitely this low here should go. That was at 938. Yeah, nice start to the session there. Continuation. And our breakdown here. So we have our numbers here. So the break of this low. Go on 1, 2. Oh, we didn't quite get a 3. Number 1 didn't get swept there. 4, 5, and then down to 6 for New York PM. If we'd taken for my 5 minute change of state delivery shorts, if I'd taken this one, SD 1.5 would have been the first TP, and then stopped to break even. So this PM move here would have taken out the continuation runners to 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. That was our Q3 manipulation there for the PM. We can do a deviation from that for today as well. Leading into, we've got this whole swing so low that made the high. If we do keep coming down during Asia, we'll keep these on our chart as well. Did you guys get to have a look at the daily setup video that I did? I'm finding that helpful. Nice to have sort of a step-by-step guide to work with. I've always been a visual learner and need to put that information on the chart, and I need step-based setups. Very useful. Not yet finished. Yeah, no worries, TLM. Have to let me know if it helps you out. We've got so we can look at if we are going to get redistribution through here after that SD 2.5, we could actually see a raid come in during Asia. We can do a count here as well. So after this break, we've got 1, 2, and we've now broken this low. 3. What are we at? Coming into 8 PM soon. And we're in Q2 of Asia. So it could be interesting if we do get a sweep of this high. anti-continuation down as we are at that SD 2.5. So for those that are new to the standard deviations, what we look for is that that change in state of delivery. So the low that makes the high, once that gets broken and we get the displacement like this through there, price comes back to that 1 to 1.5 and we come up, and then we're looking at our entry off this zone. So we're drawing a rectangle box from this manipulation zone and we're looking for entries back in here. We do our OTE of this swing. And just unlock that. And then we're looking for PD arrays within the zone around those OT levels for an entry here, stop loss above. And then we target the SD 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. So as we get that 1.5, within these zones, we're looking for a redistribution range, or that SBS as such. So we get the break, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we look for the same here. So we break the low, this is our 1 swing, 2, 3, and then we look for a raid of 2 for continuation down. So pretty happy to stay out of this now. Yeah, I did catch that move down to 2.5. And wait and see if we get the 8 PM open and then push up even into the next H4, 2200. H4 and rate up here. We can also draw this swing here as a box across for Asia. So yeah, something like this would be ideal for continuation. And then we would just wait for another break here, and then we enter on the retest of that zone. Should be interesting. Liquidity levels building up at all these highs. Give price some fuel to come through, and there'll be no levels left. And continue down. All right, let's jump into our high time frame review. And then we can run back through this through our daily review. Just hide the H1. We'll start on our 6 monthly again. As we've done each week, keep it nice and consistent. Let's get rid of our 90-minute cycle. So 6 months, we've been looking at 2 levels. So we've got our bullish order block here, these 2 down close candles. And then we've got this wick that we've been watching as well. So we've measured that out. So from the wick here to the low, and that 0.5 level, consequent encroachment, just 50% level of that wick. So we can see this week we've come down and tested that nicely, and then prices bounced off of that. When you go into, we're looking at the 3 month, it's pretty much that same wick there. I think that ended up being very similar when we looked at it. Yeah, 0.5 is the same. So same thing, we've got our bullish order block here, which was that 6 monthly. Also have the equal lows here that we've been noting. And into the monthly. So here's those equal lows. So the monthly so far we've opened high and low closed. So as we do with our weekly, we can grab a fib of this whole monthly candle. We just want to see the retrace. So we'll just change that to same as our TGIF. So we've opened high, we've come low, and we've already retraced 30%. So it's sort of plausible consolidation really, just for the last few days of the month now. If we were still pushing lower and we didn't have a wick yet, you know, we could look for maybe this to get swept and then look for a retrace to 30%. But as we're already retracing, I'm not sort of expecting too much for the rest of the month. You in anything, Adrian? Do you mean at the moment? I mean any trades? No, so I just had a short to that SD 2.5 level. I'll just quickly jump back to that chart. So I was in a short from 1835 after this push up down to SD 2.5 here, which is what I posted in the chart. Yeah, so I got out here and now I'm waiting for a sweep of this level, which will come later in Asia. So looking for this to push up, sweep these levels, and then continue down. All right, so monthly, so we've already retraced that 30%. So possible consolidation conditions to continue. If we go into the weekly, you can see we've had this push down, 4 weeks down, inside week, oops. And then we've just swept the high of these 2 weeks, and we've got our CB here, which is what it's gone into. So consequent encroachment, 50% level of that CB. You can see that was respected nicely there and then pushed straight back down. So it'd be interesting to see where the weekly closed. We've got our weekly low and we're back at previous weekly close. All right, let's put this onto the 1 hour. Just get rid of these. And I've kept the 1 hour drawing this time, which we've been watching for a while now, since the 10th of March. Got the weekly CB here, so we can see that was respected at the 50% level of that one. We can draw that across as a box as well. Hadn't done that yet. So this is our weekly high. I'll put on our PO3. Change that to weekly. CBCE was this level here. So far, yeah, so this week, so we've opened and we've gone high straight away. Monday up only. Tuesday we've opened low. So manipulation below TDO, true day open, and then expanded higher. So we expand higher, so open, low, high, and then we come back for the close. So same as what we're looking at for the monthly, or with expansion weeks on the weekly, you get that retracement at the end. And then we've gone into Wednesday. So far we are Tuesday high of the week. We can grab this whole 1 hour swing, and we've got our standard deviations on them there as well. We'll pop our SD 1.5, we didn't get much reaction from. And SD 2.5, where we've gone into our redistribution. And then we've got these levels here to watch as well to finish off the week. I've also got our OTE levels here from this swing low to high. We've got our new week opening gap, this level here. So I'll pop both of them on. So level to watch as well. If we are going to break and close below, we can look for retests of the NWOG. Plausible continuation to finish the week down here, I think. 3.5 to 4.5. 0.79. So we've gone from opening into a high. It's good to see, I guess, a good puzzle piece here is that for the weekly open, there was no open low into a high close. Opening and just going high and into bearish PD array up here allows to look at that bearish sentiment, I think. And then as soon as we've had this sell-off, helps confirm. So small manipulation above TDO here. Breakaway gap, so this doesn't get retested. And straight down. We can count this one out too. If we go 1, 2, 3, and we get the break of 2, 4. And that doesn't count as 5 because we've swept 3 here, so it's 4, and then the next high is 5. So there's a 1 hour SBS here. And TP's at 6, which is the sweep of 3. You can pop that on there too. So in here we've this is what makes this day a bit tricky. So we've opened and we've gone low, and then high, and then it's manipulated above true day open, and then we've come back down as well. But a nice bearish 1 hour here, so that 11 o'clock one. And once that's in, we've got our, this becomes our bearish OB. You can see price unable to close above, and normally you look at 50% level of these candles once they form. I call this a tweezer top. Hey Chef Trades, welcome. Thanks for joining. So we'll call this minus OB 1 hour. Always good, guys, if you are watching and if you're trading New York during these conditions, just to look at those higher time frames. You know, it's looking pretty rubbish through here. And then once these two candles have played out, it becomes a lot cleaner, and we're looking for sells within this order block here, unless we get candle closes above 50% of that order block. Which we can see is respected well. And true day open, look at that. Bearish test exactly, continuation down. So a 1 hour alignment for the week is quite nice. So 1 hour into the weekly, we've got our standard deviations which are being respected. We're in redistribution. So plausible, open, high, low close, continuation for the week. Got our weekly week so far. And so what we do for our TGIF, while we're on the 1 hour chart, is we will be using our weekly candle. So I'll just move our weekly candle across a little bit. Let me see it a bit better. That's too much. And we'll draw our high. We do have these equal lows down here to note as well for a possible draw at some stage. Let's get rid of this SBS. So if we are looking at a TGIF play later, we can grab our fib and we're just going to be watching throughout the day. Let me just set this back to TGIF. And reverse that. So wherever this low lands, so if we do get down to SD 4.5 here, we can then look for a retracement back to 0.2 or 0.3. So we just keep adjusting this with the weekly candle as more lows may be put in today. It's very interesting that SD 4.5 lining up with that ICT soup level 0.79 there. So yeah, I think sort of worth watching whether we get rejection here of the NWOG coming into the day. Open high. Come down maybe through London into a low, sweep that and hit the SD 4.5 and then push up to that 0.2 or 0.3 level, which is right at NWOG as well, to finish the week. Some nice puzzle pieces there. Going to be interesting to review tomorrow. Do you guys have any questions on that 1 hour chart? Does that all make sense? For current order flow, we've paired the weekly with the 1 hour as we normally do. We've got our nice clean break here. We can get our standard deviation from the high of the week. And a lot of the time the weekly likes to come down to the SD4 4.5. Can't wait to see how it plays out. Yeah, same. It's a lot of fun. Enjoy putting the pieces together using our fibs, using our standard deviations, and we can normally map it out quite accurately. Yeah, so we're watching for manipulation above TDO as we come into today. All right, we'll jump back to our daily review. Currently at the 8 p.m. at the moment. I'm not really interested in price action here until we get a rate of the highs. Otherwise, it can just fall down, and happy to miss out on that. Okay, so we open the day up with Asia. There was no clean standard deviation down here, so I didn't have any positions for this move up. We start our day, we've drawn on our, so we had the PDH, PDL was drawn on, done our OTE of the daily range and the fixed range volume profile. So all our volume and point of control was up here, which caused this sell-off. And then we have our other NYAM Q4 manipulation zone was here. And we can see we've got high volume nodes here, so definitely points of interest. Sold off. So was looking for price to continue up into these zones and then sell off. I didn't manage to get that to get high enough there. So we've been drawing up for Asia. There was no clean low to get a deviation from. So we're just watching. If anyone did get in here, I was discussing this with Staffy yesterday. Each low and the timing of it. So this is our, I'll grab our circle tool, might be a bit easier. These were our macro times in here. So we've got 1910. So the macro times are the H1. 8 p.m. was here. $21.10. $22. Oops. Ended up here. And 23. So if we were long and looking for ads, and using that New York PM high as the draw, we could have done average up positions on these during these macro times, which were quite interesting. And so what's going on with them is the H1s are opening, so open low and then high close each time. Open low into that, for this one, so 1905, high close. And this part starts from that normally around 20 minutes before to 20 minutes after. The macro is 10 before to 10 after. So open low, high close, open low, high close. Thanks, TLM. Appreciate your teaching and aspire to learn some of this. Yeah, well, hopefully I can help you with your precision and timing of entries. And so by using these, using the macro times for entries, alongside 5-minute change in state of deliveries, we can really refine those entries and have minimal drawdown. So Asia's just continued up. We get that sweep of that New York PM high. So sweeps in here. We can then draw our rectangle box here as well. I'm waiting for that change in state of delivery. So this becomes our Asia manipulation zone. Let's put on our 90-minute cycle as well. We'll see which quarter that came in. So this was in Q4. Been getting more Q4 and Q1 zones recently. I think is due to time shifts, daylight savings. So Asia Q4. So we had that break here, which is also in London and Q2. And we've got our TMSO level. So this is our Q2 open. So we're looking for manipulation above that as we come into London. So didn't have any trades in Asia. Couldn't trade the break down here yet because this leg here still hadn't been broken. And then we've got Q2 break here. So then I've entered off of this swing from London. So our London manipulation zone then becomes this box here. with stop above, we had SMT here with ES. So ES swept these highs and then broke down as well. For my trade, I actually had 2 entries. So I'd entered here, and then after this 5-minute close, I was expecting price to continue up. So I closed the trade and then re-entered after we had this close. I put an entry at that BPR there. Stop was above the high there. And target was SD 4.5. I only took this on one account this time, just due to paranoia of these levels up here, being so many. But ideally, the normal setup would be back from here. So we have our zone, we have our OTE, and we have the PD arrays within the zone, which was this BPR at this stage, and then we enter, multiple positions on different accounts, and we target the 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. Different targets for each account. Like so. We hit SD 1.5. Stop loss goes to break even. 2.5, next account's out, 3.5, and then 4.5. So yeah, very nice sell-off there for London. So we had manipulation above that TMSO. And was that above True Day Open? Where did that end up? Put that on. Yeah. So manipulation above True Day Open and TMSO. So the pieces come together. Big sell-off, and then come back down back into this zone, Q1 zone in here. You can grab an order block here from this swing that caused this breakout and drag that across. So we've tapped 50% of that level. Prices come back up into the zone, unable to break. Call this a Q1 manipulation. Don't like taking trades in Q1. Well, let's measure this one out as well. SD. So we've got our Asia standard deviations here. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4, and 4.5. And then we've got this Q1 manipulation here as well. So it's broken down, not confirmed until 6:35. If we align this as well with the 4-hour candle, which is what these are here, so we've got 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We've open high straight away, so plausible open high, low close. We'll call this NYAM Q1 manipulation. So we've now got 3 zones, zone in a zone in a zone. And yeah, we would wait for that candle close below at 6:35 and look for entries in here or even around that macro time. SD 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5 here. Yeah, I want that 5-minute close to confirm the manipulation, not wicks, need the body. So entry here, stop above. $2.5. And down to 4.5 there. Once we hit that 1.5, stop loss comes to break even. Very close here. That swing back. We pay attention to those macro times as well. So we had that 7 o'clock open high, low close. 8 o'clock. And then 8:30's come back and swept there, which ends up being, go 1, 2, 3, sweep of 2, 4, 5. If we're trading the SBS, then we target the low of 3. And 6 becomes our TP. So we're hitting these levels and then you're getting redistribution basically. And this SBS becomes part of the redistribution fractal. We get a sweep of 2 into 8:30 and then expands down to target. So using these SBS fractals and accounts is very helpful for staying in positions and having an understanding of these raids of 2. Coming into Q3. So now London low's gone. Let's sweep London low. Still have the high intact here from Asia and the other highs here as well. Then we've had our V-shaped reversal. Come back up to that 200 smooth moving average here. And then we get our breakdown in Q4. So there's no clean 5-minute structure down here to enter from. You know, we're bearish on the day. We can also look at a higher time frame SBS here as well. So we come down, break low, get our 1, our 2, then we've broken 1, becomes 3, 4 sweeps 2, and then 5 is the next lower high or higher high, depending how it plays out. And then we're targeting 6, which we've just hit down here. Just go on into the next day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty cool. So we hit this high. So we swept Asia high, we swept all of these other highs and this manipulation zone. Break structure here. We draw our zone. We do our fib. So from high to low, We've got our OTE in here, and we're looking for a raise within that, which we don't really have in here. There's no sort of like a SIBI just in this bit. Small gap in here. Got 705. So we would then look to enter short. So this 11:30 candle confirms the change in state of delivery. Candle closed below. We've got displacement. We come back up. Let me just get rid of this. This was from the previous day. Zone here so we can see it a bit better. Then we look for entries as we come back into the zone. Our PD array is here. Stop above the zone high. TP's at SD 1.5. $2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. Here, SD 1.5. Stop to break even or into profit. So possible stop out here, pending where the entry is and where the stop loss ends up. Yeah, and then we can count out the swings here. So we're looking for that sweep of 2 for the continuation. 4, 5. 3 gets taken for the SBS take profit. And then we've continued down nicely, still within this standard deviation swing for Asia. We might get a BPR in here. This current setup in quarter 2. Do you guys have any questions for New York AM or PM or anything from the day really? If this was in bullish conditions, not bearish because we're in bearish order flow, you'd look for a PO3 play here. So for example, if price had come up and then consolidated here, we'd be looking at this area to be used as a long, and we would grab this swing and we draw a zone here and do a standard deviation back up. But as we're in bearish order flow, we're not looking at that. Everyone's so quiet today. Just gonna have a sip of coffee for a sec. Feel free to fill the chat, guys. Would you have framed longs after that 9:30 open manipulation leg? That filled NWOG. Yeah, so that's what we were just talking about here. And because it's so large, so we swept everything. We've come back in. We've closed. Candle closes below PDH. I mean, I'd rather take that trade if we were in bullish conditions, not bearish conditions. And the time there was 10:10. So we have our high. We get our sweep. And the deviation would then be from here. So I mean, it could be taken and targeting these highs here. You just have to be so cautious when against that high time frame trend. When we are bearish conditions, do always look for short setups and vice versa. I try to as the main setups for the day TLM. Because I mostly trade Asia and London though, I tend to take the counter trend trade for price to come back up into the area where I would want to short from. So for example, if we had a cleaner structure at the low here in Asia, so if we'd come down, we'd sweat this, and then we break up, I would look to take the long. That's annoying. Let's move that down. So if we did this, for example, and then we can draw a standard deviation off this, preferably if it was in quarter 2 or quarter 3, I would look to long this up into these areas to look for a short in London and New York. Yeah, so which is quite common. We see London, we'll see Asia and London come up. London likes to then come back, retest where Asia high is, get another standard deviation measurement, and push up into these areas of interest and around the OTE. So we could look for longs during that time and then short back down. You find London open is usually a short. All depends what Asia did. But sometimes you'll find Asia will come back down and then London will do the continuation up, or if we are still in lower zones, London likes to flip Asia high as well and then continue. I put a couple of examples of that into the mentorship when it does that. Either way, once we see those zones present themselves, we just have to take them. Got to take the trade. Happens more often than not. So what could have happened here? This is a good example actually. Sometimes you get a double break. So we have a break here. We take the short entry. But if it was going to continue higher into that OTE zone, a lot of the time it'll do this, and then it comes back and it'll flip Asia high. And the actual manipulation zone becomes this swing down here. And we would draw a box on that and then look to enter off of that. And this happens a lot of the time. And then we would do a standard deviation level from that manipulation swing as it continues up. Where did we see that last? Was that back in here? This was a quarter 3 drop. With the New York quarter 1 retest. This was the one here. Oh no, that was London. This is sort of what I mean here, similar to New York. We come into quarter three, comes down at break structure. And the zone and the manipulation zone is actually this swing instead of that high one. Come back into there during a macro time and then pushes back the other way. Yeah, manipulates to go higher. That's it. Yeah. And that's the hardest part, finding them, because you do get a clean manipulation setup or a clean break and then it reverses, and you just have to change your bias and move with it. This one just took off, so it didn't even get a break. It's down in quarter three. So it's just a flip. Flip of Asia high, takes off. Three o'clock push down here. Continues up. Yeah, upwards trend day. And that's that whole thing where we come back to for the weekly open. We've opened up and it's just gone up. There's been no open low into a high close for a bullish week. It's just gone open up. Manipulation of the high for the week is up here. And now we're in that sell side delivery for a bearish week. So we've opened high, low, close. Yeah. So even, that was TDO. It's here. So like tiny little manipulation below true day open. Push up, flip. And look at the, where it's good for trend days. TLM having that 20 smooth moving average on. So we can see with each push down, price unable to break that. Push, push. Just underneath here and then up into the PM. This was a raid. Similar to our SBS here too. So if we have our highs, candle close above. This was our 1, 2. I wonder if that didn't quite sweep that, but you're looking for a sweep of 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you target the 3 high. I wonder if that was SMT there on with ES. That'd been interesting. The other thing you can do is grab this order block here. So the high to the low that caused this breakout, and we can drag them across. And also do our fib from those lows. Template OTE. So this is a bullish continuation SBS. So we've got the order block here that creates the breakout. We have Breakout swing is 1. So 1 is the break of this high. 1. Pullback is 2. Up to 3. And then we come back into the zone that caused the breakout. And we look for longs back in here. And targeting 3. I think Freedom might have taken this one as well in his channel. So we had this one as well. Price didn't come back. And then this one do 1, 2. Didn't get the sweep. Plausible SMT there. 4, 5. We draw on our zone here. This didn't quite touch there. Sweep of 2. Do our fib. So 0.62 there, back up to that third level. If the London Open drops from to flip Asia high, yeah, watch for the trend day. Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, no worries, man. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for the questions. All right, was there anything else you guys wanted me to cover? Keen to see how the rest of Asia plays out here. If we're going to flip this and head up. Got some liquidity levels building up. We're in quarter 2. BPR. We'll do the daily setup. I'll clear the chart. I'll do the daily setup and then I might end the stream there. So we'll clear this. Actually, I'll leave that on so I can share that chart. The daily review. All right, so we'll get rid of our PO3. Go into our daily, get our PDH. Clear this one. PDH, PDL. And just swept that too. Interesting. PDH, PDL. Come back up to that 20 SMA. I'm going to do our fixed range volume profile. PDL to PDH all done in 2 quarters in New York. We got our POC is here. So not the best range for getting point of control because there's not heaps of information through that. This is right at equilibrium. SMT at the low, cool. So VP POC. We do our OTE of the range. And our manipulation zones. So we've got this one from NYAM. So our Q4. And our current standard deviation for that swing. NYPM was the Q3 swing here. Low to the high. Zone, sorry. And this is going to be a plausible low zone. We don't have a zone over here. Quarter two. Still unable to close above. Let's put a standard deviation on this as well for the moment. And so when against trend and looking for retracements, we normally see a 1 to 1.5 retracement zone in here before continuation, which also works into our the SBS we were looking at. So from this break, 1, 2, this low here now becomes 3, and then 4, 5 will be up here. And we'll be looking for that sweep of 2 for the short. Let's move that back to the front. So there's not a lot of movement in here. I'm not really interested in this in a long from here. So the risk reward is not very good. We've got our there's an ICB. So for example, if we candle close above here and we come back, say we do this. Where am I? Long tool. Candle close up. Oh, we do our fib. OTE. Long from there. Not quite 2 to 1. Whereas if we wait and we let it come back up into here and into possibly into London, and we can see how high it can get. London quarter 3 or 4 is over here. I'd be more interested in the short continuation. like so. And possible 8 to 1, depending how this manipulation swing plays out. 3 to 1 just to the SD 1.5, and we're in line with trend. And then for people that are playing New York, we can look for that. Then you can look for a Friday low of the week, because we haven't hit Friday yet for you guys. So after midnight, we then come down into 9:30. We get our low. We can then do our TGIF fib. If I grab our PO3, so this is what you guys should be doing during New York. We'll offset this. Move that across. So we can see it. So pending where the low of the day comes in for Friday, we do our TGIF fib. And hopefully if we do get a high up here and we sweep the 2, we get a measurement for London, and hopefully that helps align where the low of the day is going to come in. And remove reverse. Then it's a better time to look for longs. And we've got that, depending where it lands, then we've got the 0.3, 0.2 retracement for price to draw to, as well as the NWOG that we had as well. So yeah, not really interested in this. Low risk reward. It's plausible we get a Friday low of the week, more so than Thursday. So we want to look for that, catch that expansion down to take out this level here, to take out 3. Does that all make sense, guys? All good. Well, I might end it there. Very keen to see how price finishes off for the day, and keen to review in the morning. I'll post some charts if we do end up here and coming into London as well, and if I find a short setup there. Look forward to seeing what New York does as well. So we've got our plan. All good.